What kind of ethical reform would you bring to the city council?
You know, it's interesting. At a city level, you wouldn't think necessarily that ethics would be a huge focus, but recently we've seen that that's not the case. There are some votes that have gone on in this community that people have rightly pointed out some ethical lapses, perhaps. The two things that I focus on ethics are having appropriate procedures in place and then just avoiding and identifying conflicts of interest. The first and most important thing that we need to do is all these advisory boards that we have, like planning and zoning, we have to make sure that we do not have the fox guarding the hen house. We need to put the appropriate people in place on these boards they're not going to ignore public safety in the interest of benefiting a developer. We need to identify people, for example, in development that should not be on these boards. The Planning and Zoning Commission should consist of people who are not realtors, who are not builders, who do not have development interests in this community. The idea is that this is supposed to be the watchdog group, and I think as we fill these boards with people who do not have the desire to protect the public, which is supposed to be the role of these advisory boards, we're doing ourselves a great disservice. Particularly on the council too, what we can't tolerate is people voting with a conflict of interest. If you're a developer voting to give money to developers, that is not appropriate. A number of people have accused folks on the city council of doing just that, and I stand by them. I don't think it's appropriate, and I don't agree with some of the actions previously. But moreover, just having the procedures in place to handle something like this. I mean, currently, our process for addressing an ethics complaint is that we have somebody who answers to the board decide if the board did wrong. Well, gee, I wonder how they're going to decide. And that's not to say that these people aren't good people and doing it in a responsible manner, because I tend to believe that they are responsible people, but that's still not the appropriate process to have in place. As we grow as a community and there's more and more constrained fiscal budgets, we need to make sure that ethics don't get lost in the wash.